we someone told us we have a black screen, so we're trying to get that going. It looks like, oh my goodness, it looks like we fired up and ready. Fired up and ready. Fired up and ready. Fired
We
up
are
and ready.
going live.
Looks like, oh, we got our technician. He got us live. We good to go. Welcome to Dark Hour Discourse with I'm Dr. J.
That's an interesting title.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
am Dr. C.
So welcome to a Saturday evening.
Live. What was your idea behind going live on Saturday, Dr. J?
Listen, it's sometimes, see, I'm grown. I don't go to the parties. I don't go out.
You grown.
Grown.
Mm-hmm.
So I got family. I'm grown. So sometimes on Friday night, I have a little extra time to sit back and reflect on what my week looked like.
I like it.
And I just want to chill, right?
Yes.
Sometimes I even want to just listen to how other people' week is, right? And how it's going. So I said, you know what? Dr. C, let's go and do live.
Live. I like it.
And then we talk about our week. We talk about what's going on. We talk about some great topics. So we got some great topics for you. So just let's just do a little housekeeping.
Yes.
If you're on live with YouTube,
Or we can wait for a couple more people to join
now let's go.
and shout us out. Say, I'm here. Let us talk. Let me share your thoughts. No?
Yeah, we could.
Or
We could.
we could just get into it.
Let's get into
It's
it.
a
Let's
pretty
get
good
into it.
topic.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So we're two Doc Minds with Dark Hour Discord. This is our first show. So thanks for tuning in.
Mm.
Thanks for joining us, right, Dr. C?
Thank you for joining us. We always welcome opportunities to talk to people, to reach out and share some of our ideas, and hopefully we get a little bit of feedback so we can take those ideas and circulate those ideas around to everyone else.
Absolutely. So we got agenda for you. We're gonna do a few things. We're gonna talk about effective communication today,
I like it.
right? We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna really let folks know how they could communicate better
Mm.
during the week so they can have a better week, right?
Yeah, the essential idea is to talk about the best ways to accomplish effective communication and how do you build those effective communication skills and what are some of the things that we see out there that can help us become effective communicators.
Listen, just how you get to have a good, positive conversation with somebody so that you can get good, positive results. That's all it's about, right?
Yeah.
And doing that, what do you think?
I think it's important for anybody and everybody to learn how to talk somebody else's talk. If you work in any organization, if you are a part of a church, or if you are a part of a social club, or you're going to college, communication is going to get you to where you need to go.
Yeah.
So having effective communication skills is a good way to make sure you're getting your point across in any situation to me. So let's talk about some of the techniques. You want to get into it?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Okay. So some techniques for improving your verbal and nonverbal communication skills in professional settings. What does that look like? Let's take a look at an article. You want to jump into the article?
Absolutely. Let's jump into our article.
Now, it's good to look at articles, not because it's too topic heavy or too structured, but it gives us some good advice about how we can use people's ideas around effective communication, just to put some framework around it, so we can know where we have a starting point, and we can get some good ideas to put into play for ourselves.
Yeah. So this is 5 ways to improve communication within your small business. And this is by Derek Miller.
Mm.
This was given about a year ago,
A year or
a
so
little bit,
ago. Hmm.
almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so just a good article that really talks about the 5 ways to improve communication.
So to preface this and begin to break into this article, it says here are 5 ways to improve staff communication in your small business. Now, this is directed towards small businesses, but communication, like I said before, is communication. Anybody can use this. So the first recommendation in this particular article written through SCORE is to become a great listener. How do
Uh-oh.
you become a great listener?
By not opening your mouth and using your ears. That's the main thing, is just listening, right? Okay. How do you become a great listener? I'm going to answer it. Listen, right? And so, listen, I always say this, right? And I'm guilty of this, right? So you got to mind, I'm a talker, and sometimes I talk more than I listen, and I'm trying to. I say, I actually say, I say, yes, I'm a talker, and sometimes not a good listener. So what does that mean? That simply means that if I want to be a better communicator, I think I need to become a better listener and an active listener. So, when you're in a meeting, if you find yourself always talking, right, you need to just say, hey, if I'm doing all this talking, I'm damn sure I'm not doing no listening, right?
But sometimes we're in meetings and we get so excited about our work and we get so excited about just being there. You just want to say it. You just want to speak it. You just want to embody the whole conversation. So it's not necessarily that you have bad communication. You're excited about the topic.
I got it. But don't let that dominate the discussion, right? And so, when you're listening, you learn a lot of good things when you're paying attention to listen. So, for example, if I'm doing a lot of listening, right, I'm listening to cues. How is someone feeling?
Yes.
Right? What are they thinking? What's their emotional state?
Right.
What is their work? What is their understanding? I'm learning so many cues that I can utilize to truly, help figure out how to do a lot of different things. So it's just becoming active listening is really good.
Absolutely. But again, how do you become an active listener? So what does that look like in a live setting to you? Like say there's a team meeting of 5 and we're talking about, let's launch this next big project, $5 million project. And I have to sit and listen to these other 4 and wager on this big $5 million project and listen. What is your advice to me? And I know that I have something that I feel like somebody there.
I mean, I think we just talked about it. Listen, this is something that I think for anyone, you just, I don't know, you just want to listen. I mean, you just want to.
I think it's self-control. I honestly, but we can move on to the next one if you like.
Yeah, because I think that's self-explanatory.
Yes, it is. So let's go to number 2. Make important documents information easily accessible.
So what does that mean?
It means that I need information and to all be on the same page with your team members or with whoever you're working with, your project team leads, whatever the case may be. You have to make sure that we all have the same information to operate on the same page. So that's a part of effective communication. I believe so. I need to stay well informed for any project that I'm doing, and to be able to have the same access to the same critical documents is one important part of the communication process.
No, I mean, it's so when you're looking at having important documents and you're in an organization, you just being able to be able to clearly show things that information clearly.
Right. So let's read a little bit of this. It says every company has a unique set of information that is pertinent to how a specific organization operates. This may or may not include employee protocol and benefits, operational workflows and processes. This stuff is just pretty standard in any industry. It's kind of boring, but
Absolutely.
it is important. Style, many documents. We all should stay on the same page and have the same information and read over the material and stay informed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Let's go to number 3. Let's leverage some technology integrated communication. Now, how we do leverage technology, I think is very different for everyone in every organization. I think people are all used to technology at this point. We all have to be very comfortable about
Absolutely.
how we use it. We can't say, "Oh, I do things this way," or "I used to do it this way." You got to do it in the most uplifting way at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, right, technologies are good friends in communication. We're using YouTube right now to communicate. We have cell phones, emails, but yeah, this is a great thing. I really think one-on-one, still in person, is still one of the best way to communicate.
Well, a lot of people are really leveraging, especially post COVID, I would say.
Yeah,
It's what it is. It's virtual meetings. So
yeah.
how are you feeling about virtual meetings now?
I hate them. I mean, be honest with you, I hate virtual meetings. I hate virtually all day, and sometimes cameras on,
Mm.
so you don't even get a chance to look in their eyes and see what they're saying. You just see, their picture or whatever icon you have on the screen. So I truly hate virtual meetings. I still love sitting around a table,
Mm.
talking with people, looking at them, looking at their eyes, feeling that emotion, being able to collaborate and all that. So I'm still old school. I don't like virtual meetings. And I think it's not just me. When you look at a lot of companies, they're bringing people back to work,
Oh yeah.
right? They're bringing people back to work because in some cases, not all, right?
Mhm.
People are more productive, you know, not staying at home, being DJs, doing all the things that you do potentially while you're home at work. Sometimes some people get distracted.
Hmm. So what does that have to do with effective communication too? Because this is a good topic, but how does that apply when we're talking about virtual meetings? Do you think people are able to do better in virtual as opposed to being, not so good in person?
I mean, I believe,
Depends on the personality.
yes,
Probably.
it depends on the different personalities. My preference, right?
Your preference.
My preference
Yes.
is in person, and being able to talk about it. So I got an example, right?
Okay.
I used to run a customer service. Our part of one of the divisions within my organization is a customer service center. We had about, I would say, 35 customer service reps that worked,
Mm-hmm.
right? So COVID hit, folks went home, we set up their workstations and their phones where they can work from home. It was great. We found out that our team, even with desktops, even with headsets, even with everything that they need,
Right.
they were about 57% less effective and efficient before. So what does that mean? On average, our call taker would get about 55 to 60 calls, right? Some a little bit higher, some a little lower, but on average, it was a 55 to 60 calls a day.
Let's pause. We
Right?
gotta say so. We got somebody saying hi, Dr. J, and Dr. J. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dr. J, but we gotta say hi to our folks who are supporting us and calling in. Just say hi, please.
Absolutely. So next way, what's up? Let us know where you're from, where you're logging in from. It's all good. Thanks for listening in.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And if you are watching us live and we're trying to get you hyped up on this Saturday live, trying to get you excited about walking into your Monday morning, because honey, it's hard for everybody.
Absolutely.
We need to talk on Saturday. We need to see you on Saturday so you can have your best approach when you wake up on that Monday morning. So give us a shout out. We're looking at our chats and we're waiting to see you say something so we can shout your name out and say
absolutely.
hi.
So next way, Con, what's up? Let us know where you're coming in from that West Coast. That's what I'm talking about. We born and raised in Cali, so California love right over in here.
Absolutely. So I interrupted you, Dr. J, about talking about virtual effective communication. And you are not a fan.
I hate Teams.
You hate it.
I hate Zoom.
Okay.
I hate Discord.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say I hate it.
Okay.
I think I'm fatigued.
Yeah, fatigue is a better word.
With always being in front of a computer.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I've been used to, right? I'm in the office and I'm moving to another meeting.
Right.
Then I'm having lunch with somebody, right?
Oh,
Then I'm in the hallway talking with somebody by the water cooler, right?
right.
I'm having engagements, right?
Right.
But when I'm at home and I'm working and I'm by myself,
Yeah.
right? I'm not having engagements for weeks unless I go out to other, things. But at work, I'm not having. So how do I so for example, Bronco and another person to the team,
Okay.
they're virtual.
Right.
We never met. We went through the interview process. Now they're virtual. I'm virtual.
Mm.
How do I build a relationship?
Yeah.
How do I build a camaraderie with somebody that I never meet
Right.
besides, Zoom or besides Teams or besides whatever that platform is?
Yes, I think again, it's dependent on the situation and the nature of the work,
Yeah.
and what is necessary to get the work done. I think virtual relationships or virtual professional relationships can be beneficial because you get to reach people from other sides of the world. I think it gives you an immense opportunity to explore different cultures, different ways of thinking.
So how many times you been on the Zoom?
Let me finish. Diverse ways of thinking. I believe that you have more opportunity than less opportunity.
How many times you been on Zoom with somebody across the world at work? That's an employee.
Zoom?
Our teams are virtual.
At least several times over the course of the last 2 years.
So, but you don't do it often.
No, it don't. It doesn't happen.
And for many people, it's not happening often. They're with their colleagues, maybe some clients, and they look at the same people on the screen every day, doing the same thing. So at the end of the day, I just don't like the style. I like being able to physically be in a room and talking with each other.
Wow.
So
okay,
leveraging technology is great. I think you can use it, but you can't overdo it. And right now, I think we just had, COVID forced us to use these technologies. But I think that there has to be a balance between in person and really getting to meet the team versus it's just like using a dating app to
well, it's
no, think about it. I get on love.com, right?
Goodness.
And I try to find my true love on love.com.
It works for some people.
It works for some people, right? So we text back and forth for 6 months, getting to know each other.
Then you see each other face to face.
You see each other face to face. Now you see their quirks, you see their personality, not through a text, but you see them, how they talk, how they integrate, just conversate with you, how they respond to you, right? You look into their eyes and you say, listen, they may be paying. I may be getting catfish too. I may see a
I know
picture.
You're going to drop that term. I didn't want to say catfish, but it can happen.
It can happen. Yeah. So how do you prevent that? By meeting somebody.
By meeting somebody, to put them in your face and really getting a real feel for who they are in person.
So if you're out there and you like virtual meetings, drop a 1 in the comment section.
That's a good one.
And if you like in-person meeting,
drop
a number 2 in the thing.
Because I think virtual meetings again are an adaptive technique of way to communicate.
Yeah,
I really do. I think that it's necessary for small projects, because small projects, it's a cost-effective way of getting a small project done. Now, if you're talking about a longer-term project, so we're talking about it changes depending on the term of how the length of a project, or whatever the case may be. I think jumping online virtually just saves you money in general, especially for small businesses. But if you're talking about really building a team and working inside an organization and really honing somebody, it's important to meet them face to face.
Absolutely. So that's number 3. So I think this guy did good with the article. I don't agree with all the points. I think you got to leverage it.
Okay.
But for sure, next way for sure. Thank you for that comment.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely. So what is our next? So we got 5. So we gave 3. Now we got 5. What is the 5th effective way to communicate?
Well, we're on number 4, right?
Oh, number 4.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So use a dedicated internal communication platform. So this is still, again, technology, but we're talking about making sure that we are on the same wavelength when it comes to internal communication.
So now we're talking about Slack, We're
Yeah,
talking about
all the good
Discord.
stuff
What is
now.
that one that we tried last time? I forget what it was.
Asana. I think.
Asana,
Yeah.
right? So they eat. Let me just say this: they're fun to use. I think they're cute.
Oh,
It,
cute.
cute. I like the word cute.
Not the
Unless it's mandatory that everybody use it
yeah.
and everybody get trained on how to use it, and that is a platform for your organization, then I think it works, right? Slack works. But again, you do it everything and you're not doing as much engagement. But if somebody's using Slack, if someone's using Asana, someone's using Teams, if someone's using Discord, if someone using all these platforms, Google Meet, Google, right? And every time you get on, it's another platform after another, after another, after another. It is ineffective. I think it's a waste of time. I think it is.
So you think that people should just email you or text you? What do you think? How do you share internal communication if you're not using all of these different platforms?
You remember back in the day?
Chat.
You remember back in the day?
Instant message.
No.
What was it?
You got something on your calendar and you show up to a conference room.
Yeah. Okay.
And you write notes, you brainstorm,
Oh
you
my
come up
gosh.
with
Right
agenda,
notes.
next
Do people
steps,
do that
a
anymore?
project plan,
Yeah.
right? And then you break up and you go, and then you have sub meetings, right? That's exciting. You know, it was interesting. I talked to the kids, right? They're in school, college. And interesting thing about college, you got kids in college, hit something in the comment section, but issue is they never went to a library.
Yeah, they don't train people.
They don't train. So even just a basic, I'm going to the library with my friend, we're gonna pull some books, we're gonna research. Now, think about this. We went to the library, we pulled books, we actually knew how to use a library and find a book. We opened the book up, did research and did things, right?
Yeah.
Where we're little kids and or whether we were old, right? We knew how to use a library. The library was fascinating for folks that went, right? Nowadays, chat GDP.
Yeah.
All they have to do is type, what do you think about this?
Right.
It's just you lose that sense of engagement.
Chat GDP is going to wipe out library systems?
I think these next group of kids going to have it tough. I don't think they going to have to. I always watch those little movies, like Disney animated movies, when the computers start thinking for you.
Yeah.
And people start going.
So we've had cues for this coming for years.
We saw it in the little movies where people stop thinking because the computer is doing everything. You don't have to do it.
I actually was looking at some type of news and somewhere, don't quote me on this, but they said literally because our food is soft now that that people's teeth are no longer as necessary. So a lot of people their teeth are wielding down and they're not as useful anymore. So it's just like using books and library systems. If you don't use it, it becomes no longer useful. It becomes a waste of resources because you start to learn and things start to get fed to you. So ChatGPT and things like that are starting to just lay it all out for you. You don't even have to do anything.
Well, you got Next Way Con that says, is AI that bad? And so, no. It's two coins to AI. AI is good for certain things, right? Pushing technology. AI is good for pushing innovation. All right. AI is great for that. But AI is not great for thinking for people. And so what you're doing with AI, they're doing processes and things for people. So, the concern is not that, that people won't be able to do it. The concern is that people won't continue to just be able to be as innovative because we'll be leveraging AI to be too innovative. But there's positives and negatives to AI, Dr. C. What do you think?
Absolutely. And again, everything is different for every situation. Not everyone communicates the same. Not everybody eats information the same. Not everybody is able to, walk the same paths. We all do it in our individual ways. So, Dr. J, let's get to the last thought.
So hit something in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Your icon will pop up on the screen to let all of our users and our folks know what you're saying. But at the end of the day, right, when we
see some people watching this live, we want to hear from you. We want to see you say something so we can move this conversation in a different way and move this conversation to where it's useful watching us.
Absolutely. So internal communication platform like Slack, like Asana, like Teams, like Google, whatever, right? Yes, it's a great way to improve communication. But again, like everything, like AI, like ChatGPT, all these things, you don't want to leverage it so much that you don't have. Because one of the best things about an organization is being able to connect with people, become a family, have and an understanding about the mission, vision, and the values of the organization, and just being part of moving something forward. Absolutely. That's just as critical, and I don't know if you can do that.
But according to this article, just as a side note, it says at least there are 5 million active users on Slack every day.
Well, that's good. That means that there's another 350 million people in the United States that has enough sense not to use it all the time. So that's a good deal.
Let's go.
All right. So what's our fifth one?
Let's go into 5 then. With that being said, let's find easy and reliable resources. Most people think the communication stops after the conversation, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Feedback is the response or reaction that follows, and it is a critical step in the communication loop for businesses.
Yeah, but I've seen people put a lot of feedback things in, and I'm not trying to be negative today. One of the things that you have to make sure is that, number one, when you get feedback, that you're in the right space that you can accept it. Right? I want to hear feedback. And you
got to be ready.
You get feedback.
Let's just clarify that, because like you said, let's be ready. But feedback can be positive and feedback can be negative. But either way, positive or negative, it can move you forward in a great direction. So what can we get ready for when we ask for that feedback? How can we brace ourselves to hear things that we may not be ready?
Brace yourself for positive and negative. It's like you say, you got to brace yourself for positive and negative feedback. Why is that important? Because some people are really good with getting it back. Positive. It's not all. Right? Some people are really humble and don't really want the accolades. They just want to work hard. Right. So you have different type of people, right? But then you also have people that receive negative feedback, right? And they use that to improve themselves.
Right.
And then there's some people that receive negative feedback and they use it to get back at the person that provides feedback. So if you put feedback loop in there, you have to be an organization that wants to improve, want to get better, right? And want to really help move things forward in a more positive way, in a way that you're getting feedback from and feedback and want to move in that way. I think one of the issues that you got to be careful with is making sure that when you ask for feedback, you react to it. So if someone says, "Hey," right,
you should react in the moment to it.
No, I wouldn't say you act. It's anonymous,
reactionary,
right? So but sometimes, right, you say, "I want to put bologna in the cafeteria." Well, you got to make sure that you put bologna in the cafeteria because that's what people want. You have to be able to implement those things. You can't like, thank you.
Right.
You have to do something with it.
Feedback. So should you offer feedback before you're not fully informed about somebody and their strategies? Sometimes people offer feedback and they're not ready to provide feedback. They're not really truly equipped to give feedback. But like you said, they may have ulterior motives where they want to give feedback because they just want to get back at you and they just want to throw you off your track.
Yeah.
So how, as the person, as the target of that type of situation, what should I do? Like that. Like, I don't want to receive feedback, but
What do you think?
I think that I would request that you reserve your comments for a better time, especially if we're in the moment, we're in a heated situation, or we've had history where we weren't necessarily, our values weren't aligned, or we were bumping heads. If somebody's out to get you really have to, make yourself receptive and be careful.
Yeah, I mean, there's always office politics, right? There's always that going on, and so one of the things you got to be mindful of is where that feedback. To your point, where's it coming
from, and what did I do?
Right,
What did I do?
right, and I mean, once you get, you understand some of those things, right? Somebody give you feedback saying fire somebody because I don't like them, right? You just know that there's probably something there, and it may, but you can use that information to figure out how you start building team and building relationships too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you may see that tension and that feedback. Wait, that may be something for me now. Let me start doing some team building, because it looks like in that unit and those people, they may be having some conflict. Let me, as a person that's managing that, let me go ahead and figure out how to improve those relationships again, right?
Yeah. So in the essence for this, we're trying to do some better communication. Don't leave that, please. Go back. We're trying to use this to become more effective communicators. So feedback in this instance can be used as an effective communication tool by allowing people to receive, the critical information that they need to receive to make better decisions.
Absolutely. So we got a question on the screen
Oh, we
from
do.
Jalen.
Let's go.
Go ahead, read that out. Steve.
Sure. Okay. How do you recognize people who aren't able to receive feedback? How do you recognize people who aren't able to receive feedback?
I don't know if you initially can just look at somebody and say, those are not people that receive feedback well. What you will know over time, right, is that person, say you're in the office with your manager, right?
Mhm.
Are you in an office with an employee that you manage, whatever?
Yeah.
And you say, I'm giving feedback on your work, right? I think that, you could have done this better.
Yeah.
Right. All right. You could have done that better. Or what are you thinking about doing this instead of this? Because this is, something I do. And you provide that level of feedback.
Yeah.
You always want to know that first reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Because that first reaction, and sometimes you can't even unwind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you let it go, it's out there. That first reaction, right, is, oh, that's possible. Oh, that's a great suggestion. Let's do it.
Oh, I like that
Right?
response.
That's a great response. Now
you don't always get that.
No, you don't get that. But that's when you know that you're receiving feedback well.
Right.
So Jalen's question is, how do you recognize people who aren't able? It's the exact opposite. Woo. I give that feedback, right? And they say, who are you to give me some feedback?
Right.
Oh, right. Or they get mad. And then you see them retaliating.
Yeah.
Or you see them get frustrated because you gave them some feedback and they weren't ready to receive it. That's when you know who it is and who is not. It's not just by looking at them.
And oftentimes when you see somebody react in a bad way, it's because they're going through something. It has nothing to do with the person providing the feedback. It has more to do so with, I'm insecure about where I am. I'm insecure about the work that I'm providing. I'm insecure about my role at this organization. I'm insecure about this role that I have on this team. So it's the person that's giving the feedback also should keep in mind it probably has nothing to do with them and has everything to do with how that person is feeling about how they're going through their own day or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. I mean, you may have that, but it's going to tell you something, right? If I'm having a bad day and I bring it to work, it's going to tell me a little bit about that person.
It is.
Right? If I'm able to receive feedback or not, it's going to tell me about that person. If I'm going to feel like I'm getting retaliated or not, it's going to tell me a lot about that person. But it's also going to tell me about my team.
Yeah.
And then, depending on where you're at, you got to figure out if that's the organization for you.
Yeah.
And if you're a manager or a supervisor and you're seeing that in your team, you got to figure out, how do I provide my team some support so that, right, I can ensure that they can take feedback a little bit better, right?
Yes.
And everybody's different. So, Jalen, I love the question.
I like it.
Thank you for asking it. It was a good question, but I would say is, you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And when you know, you know.
Listen to the signs. Look at the signs, see somebody's like posture, behavior, see how they're acting, see the tone of their voice, the look in their eyes. You used to tell me, don't look too deep into certain people's eyes, because you're going to see something you might not want, you're not ready to receive yet.
Absolutely.
So read the signs.
Absolutely. But if you're virtual, like this article said all the time, and using technology,
that's true.
You don't have that ability to see the eyes,
really,
because the eyes, because sometimes people just come off the camera. Are they not on camera?
Yes, we recently had that on one of our team meetings.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Where okay,
all right,
we know we can definitely feel the tensions build up amongst the team members. Not feel it, but kind of see it.
You can see it.
You can see people moving in their seats, itching, wanting to say something, pushing the button off and on, pushing the mic off and on, and having these different.
You had everybody on camera, and then everybody went off camera.
Would shift off camera. I'm like, where did they go during the highest intensity of that conversation? And that could give you signs that it's not going well, and I'm feeling some kind of way. So, and not being in a virtual space, it's just hard to.
That's why I hate virtual spaces. I would have loved for that meeting to be in person,
because then you have to confront.
Because you're going to confront it. You're going to feel that energy. You're going to see that energy. You're going to look in the eye, and you're going to deal with the issues right then and there.
Yeah.
And people won't be able to hide from just getting off the camera and walking away from the computer. They're going to have to sit there, and they're going to have to face it. So, that is some good knowledge.
Stuff. So there's some ideas around effective communication when it comes to virtual. We're going to go ahead and we're going to look at a YouTube video. And this YouTube video is going to give us some good insight about how to be great at effective communication.
Absolutely. So we're looking at this live, right? This is a live reaction. So we wanted to react to this live, number one, because we want to share with you, but number two, we want to make sure that in this, right, how do you improve your speaking, right? But we don't want you just to look at how you improve your speaking. We want to talk about how you improve in general. So speaking it's about speaking now, but let's talk about just in general.
Speaking is very important for effective communication.
It's just
what it is.
It's the number one thing. So hopefully y'all can hear it. If you can't hear it, let us know in the comment section. Put I can or I can't hear it. We're going to play a little bit for you.
What's the most important thing you can do in the next 10 days to improve your speaking? And for this,
unfortunate,
Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book 3 years ago, Outliers, Los que sobresalen. What does it take to achieve world class? What does it take to be truly excellent as a musician, as a sportsman, as a speaker? And he looked at multiple different cases. Is it talent? Do Irish people just have this innate knack that they can be great public speakers? And people from Chile will never get there? The answer is no. So what is it that leads to excellence in programming? And the answer, 10,000 hours of practice.
So let's talk about that. What gets you to excellence, right? Communication, whether it's speech, what gets you in whatever you do to excellent? And he said it well. 10,000 hours of practice, is critical. That's how you improve. Listen, this is our first live on YouTube, right? So we're learning here in front of all the folks that are.
This is about what, an hour? So we got what? How many more before we become experts at becoming expert live professionals.
Well, we
so
got
many more hours.
we got
left.
another, a lot of episodes, right? What you will know on the episodes is that we're going to get better and better and better because we're going to practice.
Mhm.
We're going to learn from other folks. We're going to that level of practice to get to it.
Yeah, this is not the first time I've heard this about the hours of practice that allows you to be a master at whatever task you are at. I think this is a very common type of approach where people
absolutely.
say, if you do this for so many and stay effective for so many hours and practice and practice and
Absolutely.
No matter where you start from,
He's
no matter
talking
how
about.
talented a kid was in school, it's the kid that practices 8 hours a day that's now playing as a soloist with the top orchestras of the world. Leo Messi wasn't born with better right knee and a better left foot than anyone else in the world. It's what he chose to do every day after school, every weekend, that means he is where he is today. So
that's critical.
yes,
That is critical. You're talking about practice, but he put it into soccer player, right? Messi, right? He wasn't more talented than other folks, but he made it to the top because of that level of effort. So it was interesting. I was in college and playing some college football at the time. And I practiced on time. I left practice, went to film rooms on time, left, and I was the rest of my day. Right? Thought I was doing good because I showed up on time and I left. But I had another friend, and I never ball practice. Why he's going to another practice? He got to be tired. But he was doing double practice, double weightlifting sessions, double cardio sessions. So I ended up never getting really better. He ended up going.
Wow.
It wasn't that he was better or more talented. When we were freshmen, we were just as good. He was why? Because he put more work in.
Right.
It wasn't talent. And so you take that in any profession, anything that you do, it's the level of commitment. It's the level of work that you put in. And if you do that, the sky's the limit.
I agree. You don't water the plant, it won't grow.
Absolutely. Got to put a lot of water on
it. Consistent.
That's the word. Consistently. And he talked about that every day.
Yeah.
Every week, every morning. You
don't want to get up. That's when you have to get up.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't feel like doing this. But those that say, I'm going to do it, are the ones that really succeed.
The most gratifying time that you're going to have is doing something when you don't want to do it.
Yep.
Because when you finish, you're going to be proud of yourself for doing it. You have to do things you want to do.
When you feel like,
All right, listen, it's easy to do something when you want to do it.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to do it when you don't. Yeah. And when you show that level of discipline, sky's the limit. So let's
keep going.
Let's keep going.
The most important commitment you can make to yourself, you can listen to all of this, and if you don't do this, it's a waste. So as you're considering that 6,000 euros that you've mentally paid, and you're thinking, how do I get a return on investment? Every laptop comes with a webcam. I want each of you to decide that you're going to spend 3 minutes every day for the next 10 days. You can call them work days, so you don't have to do it at the weekend. But 3 minutes every day, start a little program that records and explain the product, explain your CV, explain your vision, explain what a good life. One speech that I get my students in essay to do towards the end is a value you would share with a child as the basis of a good life. So day 10, that's your challenge. 3 minutes, your answer to what value would you share with a child as the basis for a good life? So nothing I can do here is going to turn you into a great speaker. No amount of watching YouTube videos of Bill Clinton is going to turn you into Bill Clinton.
Nothing.
No
Absolutely
amount of
not.
reading is going to turn you into a writer.
Yeah.
It's only by speaking that you turn into a speaker.
Yeah.
But there's people who are 55 years old. They've been in more than 10,000 hours worth of meetings, and they're crap at meetings. The 23-year-old who started yesterday is better at making meetings run effectively. So it's not just about 10,000 hours. It's about deciding it's important, deciding
Absolutely.
you can get better. And the video allows you the feedback that you can watch and see. Here there was a...
All right, we talk about
I
feedback.
like that.
Think about that,
Yeah.
right? It's so I heard two critical things. You may have heard something different. I heard that number one, you have to intentionally want to be better. So you could put the out, but if you're not pushing for a goal to be better, and there's always a goal to be better, right? I want this to be better 2 months from now or 2 years from now. So every time I do this, I have to get better.
What's cold? It was not cold, but it's a burning thing that you heard is that there are people out there that have set through 10,000 hours of meetings or
Yep.
had 10,000 meetings or whatever the case may be, and they still aren't good at meetings. There's something intentional that has to happen between the hours that you put in for and the effort that you put out for something that you're trying to get better at.
They're not getting good at meetings because those are usually people saying, I'm doing this because that's what I've been told to do, right? I'm doing it because
Half-heartedly.
this is how I always been seen it done,
This is
or
how
this is how it's always been done. If you're one of those folks, that means you're not trying to get better. You're just doing it because you're just trying to get it done, right? You're just doing it just to get through the day, right? And so those are people that's probably not on this call.
And they're not going to be great at meetings.
No. And why? Because they're not trying to improve on it. You have to want to improve. Other thing that we heard, we talked about it earlier in the article.
Right.
Feedback.
Oh, feedback is important.
Feedback and assessment of yourself.
Whew.
So practice, in this case, a speech, or practice being a writer. Give it to somebody, get that feedback.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does feedback ever feel good?
Yes.
It does.
Always.
If it feels good, how does it make you better? Because I would directly correlate to feedback as always, or not always, but most oftentimes something that you don't want to hear, but something you do need to hear. And oftentimes that makes it where it is a very critical thing that you need to hear to get better. And to get better, it has to almost hurt.
No,
you almost have to feel the pain. To build muscle.
Oh, no.
To build muscle.
Yeah.
It hurts.
No,
you have
I
to
get
break
that.
down the muscle to build muscle. It's nothing different from anything else.
Yeah, I get that, right? I get that, you're going to feel some type of way if someone says something negative, and that may make you feel sore, right? Butt sore, if you will, because you heard something negative. But
it's a good sore, though.
It's it makes you tougher.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to listen and go through that, then you're not going to grow, right? And that's the critical thing that he's saying that we've been talking about for months, right? Is you have to be able to take that feedback and not get butt sore about it. Listen to it, make sure that it's coming from the right place and use it to improve. Yep. You should be thankful that someone cares enough about you to give you a little bit of feedback.
Absolutely.
And that's how you got to look at it. And you thank them and you go get better. And then go back to them and when you feel like you got to that next stage, go back and say, how was it now?
Process it.
Yes. Yes. It's.
But going back to before you go start the YouTube over again, he made some very good important points for becoming an expert at whatever you do. He broke it down. He said, don't just do the 10,000 hours. Implement this. Don't just read a book and think you're going to get better. Don't just listen to somebody else do it well. You actually put in that work. And he said, turn on that video and look at yourself for 3 minutes and say those words and really practice it and really take it on and say, this is what I'm going to do better at.
Absolutely.
And commit to it.
You got to commit to it. To your point, you got to commit to it. So it's all about that commitment. Oh, he's been dropping dimes today.
a pottery class in the United States.
Oh, and these people paid
Ceramics, making
6,000
pots.
euros.
And the teacher took half of the class, and she said, at the end of this term, your grade will be given on the weight of pots that you create. So here is a weighing scales. At the end of the class, whoever's total production of pots weighs the most will get the highest grade. To the other half of the class, she said, you'll be evaluated on your most finished piece of pottery.
Yep.
The group that were told sheer weight.
So before we go through this, and this is a lie, we have not seen which group do you think did well? The group that was told, sure, production and volume is going to get you a better grade, versus the group that was said just make the best one. The best one is going to get you a better grade. Which group do you think did well or got a better grade? The group that created sure value, or the group that they said
Quality.
that quality? Which group do you? What you
Sheer
mean?
weight. Sheer weight meaning volume. I really think that is, even though I consider the produce, I think that getting it to completion isn't very important.
Absolutely. So I agree with you, Dr. C.
Oh.
I seen it.
Expect
So
that.
we gonna I agree with you. And the reason why I'm agreeing is when you're talking about pure production, you're gonna get better by creating more.
Yes.
So if I create 1,000 of them,
Yeah.
and I got a process, by the time I got to 1,000,
Right.
I perfected the process.
Yeah.
I improved my quality.
Yeah.
I improved my output.
Right.
I improved my efficiency.
Right.
But I got better because I created so many.
And you,
if I just sat there and stared at one and tried to get it better,
you're not making any progress.
Come on. So let's see. Everybody out there in YouTube land, listeners, let us know what you think.
I can't wait to see the answer.
Oh, we got Next Way Con.
Okay, let's go.
How do network with strangers as a how do you network with strangers as an introvert?
Listen, I've heard this introvert label a lot. So let's be very careful when we use that term. There are plenty of people out there that are introverts, in my opinion, that are able to be very effective communicators. Introvert doesn't mean that you don't go out there and you don't socialize and that you don't engage and that you aren't interested in business development or growing your career. Introvert means that when it's time for you to be in a space that you are not in with everybody else, you're just going to keep that time to yourself. Now, this could be different things for different people.
Yeah.
But for me, in general, the introverts that I've met that are good business people, they typically are okay with still being that great communicator, producing great products and services. It doesn't alleviate them from being good business people.
I would say for networking with strangers, and I'm an introvert, the simple solution I would give you is this. Select one event that you're going to go to, just one. Put it on the calendar. Show up. And promise yourself by the end of the day, you'll talk to 1, 2, or 3 people. Just set the goal. Not try to meet everybody in the room. Not try to meet 1, 2, or 3 people and just try to start a conversation. Simply, hey, my name is Next Way Con, right? And I came here to do this. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Just do that. Do it 3 times. And just let it happen. And you may be scared to respond. That's all you got to do.
Talking about 2 different things, honestly. Yeah. I think introverts can be on different spectrums, different wavelengths. I think there are people that are introverts. If you want to use that term, I really truly believe
Next Way Con use that term.
Yeah, I think that your explanation of, okay, go meet these 3 people into this networking event. I do believe that in some instances, introverts don't necessarily hide themselves from those events. I think introverts can mean different things at different times for different people. I think Some introverts are able to go out and really show
Yeah.
and be that extrovert that you have to be and sell themselves in those crowds. But some introverts, like you say, do need to take on that challenge and say, man, I got to do different. I got to communicate different. I got to sell myself different. So let me go meet those 3 people and challenge myself and have those challenges.
Yeah.
But not all introverts are made the same.
No,
That's all I'm
but
saying.
I'm just saying, just in general, right? Everybody's different. This is just a general statement for me. And that general statement is just set a goal, go and
Yes,
do it.
yes,
Just
I agree.
all you have to do is one thing in a meeting, walk up to somebody, shake their hand,
That's anybody though.
and say, hey, you know, I'm this. I'm at this event just to get to meet anybody. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
And just see where the conversation goes. It may die
Yeah.
and go to the next one and try it again.
But that can be extroverts or introverts, though. There are people who are good at communication or not good at communication.
I'm looking at the question. How do you network with a stranger as an introvert?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And I'm trying to provide some clarification that not all introverts are made the same. So it's not just an introvert problem; it's an extrovert's problem too. So we're talking about excellent communication. We're talking about extra communication for anybody that comes from any genre of anything. You know, people have challenges with communicating, no matter who you are.
No, I
So
get it.
everybody should take on that 3-person challenge and say, I'm going to find 3 people to communicate. I'm going to find 3 people to sell my idea to. I'm going to
Yeah.
pitch it and get somebody's business card, and I'm going to take it home, and I'm going
So I'm more of an extrovert.
to. Doesn't mean that you're successful in those rooms.
I'm not saying I'm successful, but I don't have a problem. Yeah, absolutely. Not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna engage. I'm gonna engage. I'm gonna be the
But there's
first one
introverts
there.
that can engage as well.
Yeah. So, yeah. But let's go. What we were talking about before, and thank
Dun,
you,
dun, dun, dun.
Next Waycom, for that question. That was a really good question.
That was.
But we were talking about production versus non-production. Which one will be successful in the class? So we're gonna roll that back. Dr. C and I think that production will be it. Now, this is a live look at this. So this is our first time. So I'm gonna roll it back a little bit. Let's see. Hopefully I can get back on the roll back. And see if we
Okay.
can,
Let's see what
Production of pots weighs the
Yes.
most.
let's go.
Will get the highest grade. So the other half of the class,
Right.
she said, you'll be evaluated on your most finished piece of pottery.
We're going with
The
the first
group
one.
that were
Finish
told sheer weight. What was their way of carrying on? Every day they produced 5, 6, 7 pots. They tried random experiments. They tried weird things. They tried different ideas. But their hands were on clay from the first moment. The group that were told they would be evaluated on the most finished pot, they read, they thought, they talked about concepts.
Come on.
They talked about philosophical ideas. They read more. They went to galleries to look at other people's pots. And the first time they touched clay was about 3 days before the end of the class.
And
All of the best pots were made by the group that focused on weight. So your way of being in the pottery group that was measured on weight is get the webcam going every day.
come on.
Yep.
Not talking about us. So let's I'm gonna make this about me.
This is
It's Saturday night.
This is a great thing. This is a great.
It's
great
Saturday night,
point.
y'all. We're gonna make it about us. This is Saturday night.
Yeah.
This is dark hour Discord. Are we gonna make it about 2DocsMinds right now?
Mhm.
And it's simple. That's what we did. If you look at our first YouTube video, it was a Coach Prime leadership video that was about an hour long. We literally just ripped off the Band-Aid and we did a video, and it didn't get a lot of views.
So we didn't take the pot. We didn't make a pottery that
We didn't overthink it. We turned the camera on. We didn't have no lights. We didn't have no script. We didn't have no nothing. We just said we want to start teaching people what we knew.
Yeah.
And we just started.
Yeah.
And even though we still got a long way on our journey to get, where we want to be, right? We have seen progression and we have seen subscriber. So like, comment, and subscribe. join our channel. We have seen people come on board. We started with one person, and I think it was two, because I think we were the first two
Absolutely.
subscribe to our own
Let's
channel.
go.
Now we have pushing over 70,000. Right?
So you want to go and you want to do it.
You just got to go do it.
You want to do it.
So I'm speaking to our people. It's either 8 o'clock if you're Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock if you're Pacific. If you're across the country, you're at another time. I'm speaking to you. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Stop thinking. Just do it. You want to be a writer? Write your book. You
Yeah,
want
a
to get
lot
a
of people
painter?
stop there and they say, oh my gosh, I want to write a book. Let me read this. Let me take this course. Let me learn how to do this. Let me get better at this. And then they end up, like he says, you get over prepared and you get caught up in the minutia. You get caught up in the oh, I'm not ready yet. Or I need to still buy this and that, instead of
crazy.
just writing the book.
So it
Just
was
write it.
it was interesting. We're talking to a lady. She's starting her business. She's ready to get going. I said, what's the matter? I'm still working on my logo and the name. 3 months later,
Oh my goodness.
it's not the logo and the name that's going to make your company. It's the
Right.
hard work that you're going to put in every single day. Start worrying about the work
Yeah.
and stop worrying about if you think people going to like your name or not. You're never going to get anywhere. Just move forward. Create a logo and move
Easier
forward.
said than done, though.
Yeah, no, it was not. It took
It's
us
not.
less than a day to come up with our 2DocsMind logo.
Absolutely.
So
That's
we
when
looked
we
at it. We
said
thought
we're
we
going to
moved
go
on.
ahead and just
It's not easier said than
just
done.
do
You just
it.
got to do it.
Just
You
do
got to
it.
do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it. No excuses. You got to do it. So let's hear a little bit more about this.
If you do it for 10 days, you'll get a lot better.
Yes.
If you keep it going, 3 minutes doesn't get you very quickly to 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours, 8 hours a day is 5 years. 4 hours a day, 10 years. 2 hours a day, 20 years. But we're all going to still be alive 20 years from now, even 30 years from now. Imagine if you set a target of really practicing, trying, trial. And they say the greatest musicians, when you listen to them practice, it's horrible. When I play piano, I play the pieces I know. The greatest musicians, when they're practicing, are trying things they don't already know. They're trying experiments. They're trying random things. So with the webcam, don't just give your perfect speech. Try random things. Because no one else has to see it. You can delete it rather quickly. But just be careful no one gets to your PC while you've got all the silly ones left on the desktop. So
No, it's okay if somebody see it. I think going back and looking at it shows your progression.
Ready to receive that feedback.
If
That's
you,
what
that's what we're talking about earlier, right? You got to be ready.
It is.
You can move a lot faster when you talk to people that have been there and done it, and that's willing to give you some confidence, some boost, some ideas on how to go. So, I think that
Practice.
come on, that's it.
Yeah.
Let's not make
Don't make it harder than it has to.
So the first answer is, this is a waste of time if you don't decide to dedicate 3 minutes for the next 10 days to put into practice, to experiment with some of the ideas.
It's amazing. Babies don't get enough credit. Why babies don't get enough credit?
Chevy Trax.
They don't get enough credit because they fall down 1,000 times before they take their first step.
Absolutely.
They credit they deserve.
Yeah, and they keep on what?
Getting up.
Getting back up.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they learn how to walk.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And eventually they learn how to run.
Mm-hmm.
Then they learn how to jump,
Yeah.
flip, and just continue to progress.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't been taught by the world, right, to quit. They haven't been taught by the world to give up.
Yeah.
They're ready to learn. And so for all of you all out there, forget what people think.
Yeah.
Put it out your rearview mirror. Focus on what you want to do and just do it.
Yeah.
And to put the work in. Put the work in. It doesn't happen without work.
That's definitely what I took away from that video. I
So-
mean, excellent video.
Absolutely. So we're going to be on this 2DocsMind
Dark
Hour
Discourse.
Discord
I like it. Yeah.
next Saturday. We coming on every Saturday. We're going to keep coming on and keep coming on because we're going to keep on dropping content, really understanding, how to share this with you. We're going to even bring special guests on,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
right? We're going to listen to your comments like we did tonight.
Mhm.
But the goal is for us to get better, for us to continue to grow, for us to reach our dreams,
Absolutely.
whatever that may be.
With practice.
Yeah, we're going to practice.
Practice.
Get better. Don't worry. You never get anywhere if you haven't failed once or twice in your life, right?
Yeah.
It takes you to, it's how you fall
It's how you get up, really, isn't it?
and how you get up. You're
Mhm.
absolutely right.
Mhm.
If you keep laying down on the ground, you're never going to be able to get to where you want to go. So get to where you want to go. Amazing stream. Next way, Con. Thank
We
you
appreciate you
for staying in there, staying
hanging
strong,
in there while we practice and we get it and we get
getting
it in.
better. So
get
we're going to
better.
see everybody win
Next Saturday.
7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Make sure you
Like,
comment,
subscribe,
right? Hit that notification bell so that you can get the alert
stay up
when
to
we
date.
go on live. Stay up to date. I'm Dr. J.
And I'm Dr. C.
And thank you for watching 2DocsMinds in a dark hour Discord. Have a good
Evening.
night.
Woohoo.